again, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're going to give it one more minute and then we will get started. And we're really excited that we're going to have people joining from all over the world. So thank you again for taking the time today. Hey, well, we're going to get started. Again, welcome as everyone's joining. And for those who have joined, we're so excited to be here. It's our third annual mental health conference. So we're really excited. I want to thank you to Chris and the whole team at Catalyst 2030 for co-hosting this year. I know that many members are here, so we're excited to have everyone and to also have new guests who we haven't met today. I'm Selena De Sola. I'm a co-founder and president of Glasswing International, and we're an organization based in Latin America that works throughout the region on addressing the root causes of violence, poverty, and we do that through mental health programming and education programming, particularly with young people, empowering them and their communities so they can drive change and lead change. We are really excited this year. Our topic is reimagining mental health, and we're bringing together a group of people from all over the world. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the different perspectives, learning from everyone, and hopefully having some really exciting dialogue. I want to go into some housekeeping just before we get started so everybody knows how the platform works. I know most of us have used Zoom, but just quickly to remind everyone, you can actually click on the sessions tab and select the panels you want to attend. And then you can click join webinar, that button, once they go live. Like each session goes live because all of this is live. For translation, just make sure that your audio selection at the bottom, you can click on that, clicking the globe. Si necesitan traducción, en la sección de abajo, pueden hacer clic en el mundito, como el icono de mundo. Please submit your questions at the beginning of the session or during the session at the Q&A, or share them throughout so we can bring these up. And the speakers will have time to go over questions because we know there's so much expertise amongst all of you who are participating. So we really have left time for that, and we're excited to have that time for discussion. At 11:15, there is going to be a break. So you can feel free to join our mindfulness activity in the lobby, which is open to everyone at that time. And also all of this will be recorded and available. So if there's a session that you're missing, that you're really disappointed that you're not going to be able to attend, don't worry, they will be recorded and we can share them. So if you have any questions, again, put them in the chat. I also want to now introduce my friend and colleague and our co-host, Chris Underhill. He is going to start us off today. And I want to introduce him because for many of you, he needs no introduction, but I just want to tell you a little bit about him. So Chris Underhill works as a mentor and is a social entrepreneur in the field of quality of life and mental health in the community. Based on his lived experience as a child, he has spent many years hands-on in the field and places great importance on his work in interpersonal relationships. Chris has developed a number of social enterprises, including Thrive, an organization working in gardening, disability, and community. I really recommend you check it out, actually, thrive.org.uk, and ADD International, add.org.uk, which works in the developing world with disabled people, creating systems of representation, advocacy, and policy development. He's built several organizations in the field of global mental health, for example, Basic Needs, which promotes the model for mental health and development created by Chris in 2000. And you'll hear about that today during the course of the conference today and tomorrow. And there are now a number of basic needs organizations in Ghana, Kenya, and Vietnam, for example, which continue to spread his important message. This is really exciting also because we're going to get to hear from Basic Needs and the experience in different contexts. Chris runs his own mentoring practice called Mentor Services and presents on health, quality of life, mental health, and resilience. He's co-founder of a new organization benefiting social entrepreneurs, the Elders Council for Social Entrepreneurs, and is also chair of the Catalyst 2030 Mental Health Collaboration. He's a Skoll Foundation awardee in social entrepreneurship, an awardee in social entrepreneurship of the Schwab Foundation, and a senior fellow of Ashoka. And he's been honored with an MBE by Her Royal Highness Queen for his work in disability. We're so excited. I know that I personally have admired Chris very much. We've been working together for a few years now, and I'm really excited to have you here and to hear from you, Chris. So thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your mentorship and being such an incredible role model and support to all of us.
Well, thank you very much, Selena. That's very, very kind of you to give me such a warm introduction. I'll have to buy you a beer at some point. I was delighted to be invited by you to give a short keynote, which I'll now proceed to do. But just to say thank you very much indeed for the invitation. The field of global mental health has developed so much since I first began working in it. Perhaps the most obvious and heartening feature of the field is the significance and the importance given to those with lived experience. And it's no coincidence that Selena and I value the contribution of those with lived experience so highly that we have placed this right at the top of our agenda. That session will come very soon after we finish here. The WHO World Mental Health Report 2022 estimates that in 2019, that is pre-pandemic, some 970 million people were living with mental health disorders, of which some 82% were living in low and middle-income countries. Mental health conditions have kept pace with the growth of global population, meaning that the prevalence of mental health disorders has stood at around 13% of global population for quite some time, a constant companion, one might say, over the years. Anxiety disorder and depressive disorder are the two most common disorders, the point being that whilst an estimated 193 million people had major depressive disorder in 2019, this rose to 246 million in 2020, that is to say a jump of 28%. Approximately the same order of increase was also experienced for anxiety disorders, confirming that we have all felt that there have been incredibly large jumps in mental health conditions during the pandemic lockdown, perhaps most notably amongst women and younger age groups. If the number of people in need of immediate help is substantial, so thank goodness is the number of ways in which we as a community can be of support to people with mental health conditions. And this is admirably underpinned in our conference by the juxtaposition of ideas around traditional healing, digital innovation, and healing through art and play. One of the most welcome features within global mental health has been our willingness to become part of a larger movement in well-being and resilience. And this has meant that we have been able to adopt, adapt, and include non-medical therapeutic practices which have proved to be supportive of folk in treatment. Perhaps most important of all, as we reach out to be part of the larger world of well-being and resilience, surely a description that essentially attracts every person on the planet, we are a professional cadre that is less siloed and much more inclusive than we were during the grim days of asylums and extreme stigmatization. We certainly understand the significance of community and the part that it has to play in resolving mental health concerns. The community is deeply involved in task shifting, and we have two separate panels on community mental health championing well-tried models from the community. Whether we are talking about crisis through the pandemic, lockdown, a major war such as suffered by the Rohingya or by the Ukrainians, or climate change, we acknowledge that many people are traumatized by these events. As a result of this, we have several sessions on trauma in a number of different settings, which we think will be instructive. Catalyst 2030 is deeply committed to social entrepreneurship and the achievement of the SDGs by 2030. and we note the extraordinary intersection of mental health concerns with the SDGs. Sometimes, of course, this relates to serious transmissible illnesses and their mental health consequences, and so we are pleased to present a panel on mental health among HIV patients. Whilst we acknowledge the mental health consequences of many people being in lockdown during the pandemic period, we also understand the major preoccupation that we all have with rapid and seemingly uncontrolled climate change. The consequences to mental health of a planet apparently on the cusp of not being able to manage its own climatological circumstances is deeply distressing, and we present with equal pride and sadness a panel on climate change and mental health. Our conference is called Reimagining Mental Health, and I can think of no better group of people who are doing just that than young people in our society today. We present with great enthusiasm a panel on youth activism and peer support. If we as practitioners have one request that we want to make of the world, it would be that considerably more funding is needed so as to make good on the substantial treatment gap which currently exists. Governments around the world allocate just 2% of their health budgets to the treatment and prevention of mental health conditions. And we at the Mental Health Collaboration of Catalyst 2030 are eager to partner with not only governments, but also trusts and foundations and high net worth donors, since significant funds are going to be needed in order for us to achieve humane and well-staffed programs in the support of people with mental health conditions. Overall, this is a conference where each one of us will find something of considerable interest, where we have emphasized the practical whilst respecting evidence. When we planned this conference, we thought a great goal would be that each one of us should leave with at least one new idea that could be put into practice. It is common for many people to think of mental ill health as being something gloomy that sets apart the individual from society. And yet this conference recognizes the seriousness that many people face, whilst at the same time celebrating the innovation, passion and commitment of people from right around the world. It's been wonderful working with you, Selina, and your incredible team. Selina and I and the fantastic teams from Glasswing and Catalyst 2030 hope that you enjoy the conference and look forward to hearing what your thoughts are as we go through the next 2 half days of conference. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you and enjoy the conference. We'll see you at the next sessions. Thank you so much.